give their point of view. Hazman is the panel spy, he shows that he has fun. And Donny, our host, will jump along, guiding us through the storm, guiding us through the storm. Big T's our Rocky keeps us through, he often gets his say. And just alive he knows the girls and everything dragons win, and everything dragons win. The Mad Dragon podcast is a journey unforeseen, with Hazman and Donny to do, and there's Big T and Coco, just the start, Mazza and the other crew, here on the Mad Dragon podcast.
Well, g'day and welcome to Wynn Stadium for the second game today. Got a tunnel there, the Dragons NRL side, ready to welcome the NRLW side out onto the park. The Dragons with a big job to do up against the undefeated Cronulla Sharks the first time. They will be wearing the Indigenous jerseys, the Cronulla Sharks in their Indigenous jersey as well. Fantastic to see the NRLW getting involved in this concept round. And as nice as the Sharks jersey can be. But the Dragons jersey certainly better. Fantastic design that the ladies will be wearing out onto the field. Racine McGregor copped a heavy knock last week. She's back to lead the girls out this week. Happy. Takes them out onto the field. Bobby Law out there as well. She'll be disappointed not to be able to take part in this game because of late omission due to the injury she suffered last week. Tyler King is also out, so there's a bit of a reshuffle for the Dragons. Tegan Berry at the back, Maria Paseka and Alice Gregory on the wings. Paseka on debut. In the centres, Keely Brown and Shanae Lendl moves out into the centres for the Dragons in the halves. A bit of a reshuffle there with Zali Hopkins moving from 9 to 6 with Racine McGregor. Angelina Chiakalanga-Katoa and Madison Mulhall up front. Casey Ray comes into the starting lineup at 9. And a back row, Ella Costa into the starting lineup in the back row alongside Charlotte Basham and Alexis Toaniai. And onto the bench, Jamali Bright, Steph Hancock, Jordan Preston on debut, and Carla Cowan as we are underway here at Wynn Stadium. The Sharks with first use of the ball, and it's Ellie Johnston that has the first carry. Runs into Toaniai and Tiakalanga-Katoa. Now they take it forward through another former Dragon in Penatani. There's a whole heap of former Dragons in this Sharks lineup. Thanks, John, saying nice calling of the NRL game. Well, it was a hard one to call, particularly towards the back end. I had no air left in the lungs and just wanted to cry myself to sleep. But we kept going. We worked through it as the Sharks worked through this first set of the game. We're inside the first minute, and the kick will come from Taylor Preston. Puts it up high down to Tegan Berry, and Berry spills it. It's knocked on also by Foliaki, but the first knock on from the Dragons and Tegan Berry. Well, she always had eyes on the ball, but went straight through the arms. The player the Dragons rely on in the NRLW is Tegan Berry. Comes up with a mistake there. She'll lock the scrum and the Sharks will go right on the attack. Emma Tonagato waits at first receiver. Skips to the outside, gets it to Penatani, and that is slick from the Sharks. They score very easily, but that little move from Emma Tonagato is about as crisp as it gets. Just the inexperience in the defensive line there from the Dragons, it just held them. Shanae Lendl had to jam in. Charlotte Basham just sort of got caught in no man's land a little bit. It forced Lendl to have to go in. And a really simple, soft try to start with here. Not great signs in the early going for the Dragons women. Lewis Speck. This shit is too hard to support. Our team ruins me. Yeah, you're right. It's well, it's hard to cop. It's been tough. Certainly a tough one for the Dragons men, and it hasn't started that much better for the Dragons women. Guy, a tough night at the office. It's horrible stuff as Preston pushes that one wide. But it's 4-0 very, very early in this game to the Sharks. Saints were terrible. Yeah, they were. They were. I don't know about the rest of the comment there, Dave. I think you can keep a lot of that to yourself, but I don't think that's the problem. Why don't we turn up in front of a home crowd? We were pretty terrible in that game. It's nice to see that quite a few of the fans have stuck around for this NRLW clash. But 3 minutes in, we're already down 4 points to nothing on the Complete Warehouse Solutions scoreboard. Yeah, I thought that all week, Henry. This was going to be a tough game. The Sharks look good. The Dragons look like they are scrambling just to put a team on the park at the moment. There's a lot of injuries. It looks like there's a few players that are not quite 100% fit. Ella Costa gets a little bit of a slap on the hand there from Holly Wheeler. Not happy with perhaps a bit of a crusher, a bit of pressure on the back of the head. Not called though, and Wheeler has another carry, so she's fine. There's nothing wrong with her. She's just complaining about nothing. Throws that ball between her legs as Preston kicks again down to Berry. She dropped the first one. She doesn't drop this one, though. Berry, though, runs straight into a shoulder there from the Sharks. Good contact from Anderson. Yeah, we work it out at our own end with Paseka, her first touch on debut. Wanted a quicker play of the ball than she was allowed to get. Now Toaniai tips it on to Tiakalanga Katoa. Put down onto her back. A good tackle there from Tonagato. Racine McGregor dummied inside. Just as I was taking a drink, I almost had to spit it out. She had to give it to Berry. Zali Hopkins has the kick. Allowed to bounce. That's it. Stuck Kyler. Could go anywhere. Knocked on by the Sharks. Picked up by Lendl. That should be play on. Put the ball down. That's a... Come on, Griff. Play the advantage, you clown. Why did he not play advantage? Why did he not play advantage? And it's knocked on by the Sharks. Picked up by Shanae Lendl. She should be allowed to play on. I don't understand that. Why is that not a try? Why is that not a try? That play advantage and that's a try. This referee should be sacked and never referee any senior football again in his life. That is horrendous. That's touch football refereeing. I don't even know the guy's name, but that's a horrible, horrible call. It should be for or kick to come from in front. The Dragons should be leading. Casey Ray now at dummy half. Goes to McGregor. Tiakalanga Katoa. In the middle of the park. She's put down onto her back. The first time the Sharks' defence has been tested. Now it goes to McGregor. McGregor goes to Hopkins. Hopkins short ball to Costa, who wasn't expecting it. Well, don't stand there if you're not expecting the football, Ella. She thought she was running a decoy. She thought the pass was going out the back, but you've got to always be ready for the ball, particularly when you're right next to the ball. Jamie Soward can't believe it. He's head's in his hands. Frustrating stuff. It should be 6-4. The Dragons should be in front. That absolutely should have been a try to Shanae Lendl. Should have been advantage played. And instead, the Sharks get a penalty because Zali Hopkins has hands on the ball. Tap and go. The Sharks get back on with it. Now they work a short side. Shot from Keely Brown. Another shot of the windsock because they love the fucking windsock. Who cares? Watch the friggin' footy. It's hard to call a game when all I'm looking at is the windsock every 2 seconds. Holly Wheeler put down by Mulhall. Goes across the Sharks looking to use the ball. They go out wide. And look at the speed here on the outside. Paseka gets shrugged away. The Dragons' cover defence comes from everywhere on Davis Welsh. Here they come to the middle. Penatani. Penatani goes across and it's with Dodd. Dodd goes wide into Tonagato. Tonagato, she's always dangerous. Gets away from Basham. Back to Penatani. Penatani, too much speed. Out to Davis Welch. She started it. She finishes it. The Sharks score again. It's 8-0 kick to come. Well, what can you do? What can you say? The Sharks, too much class here. Again, Emma Tonegato's been tremendous. Charlotte Basham's been found out. The lack of speed of Sinead Lendl playing on the edge. She's been... She can't handle Gianna Penatani at the moment, Sinead Lendl. She's a real trier, Sinead Lendl, but just wasn't quick enough. Forced the debutant Paseka to have to come in. And Davis Welsh had a free run to the try line, 8-0. Kick to come on the Complete Warehouse Solutions scoreboard. The kick again is out wide. So inside the first 10 minutes of this game, the Sharks lead 8-0. Fucking windsocks. I'm just watching on Channel 9 here, and they just keep showing shots of the windsock. Who fucking cares? Like, tell us it's windy. We don't care about the windsock. You miss half the footy while they're showing it. Gary says our season's a mess. Well, I think it's a mess in the NRLW. I think our season is much better than we were anticipating in NRL. I think that even myself, I thought we were going to be a bottom 4 team this year. So the fact that we're still sitting in 8th spot with 2 rounds to go, it's been a season that has far exceeded my expectations. And that might be accepting mediocrity a bit. To be honest, making the top 8 is the definition of mediocrity, and we haven't been good enough to be mediocre since 2018. As we give away another penalty in this game, Jesus Christ. Gary's got another good tip. Get on the cans. Yeah, they do drive you to drink, Gary, that's for sure. Not going overly well here for the NRLW side. Down 8-0 on the Complete Warehouse Solutions scoreboard. After the Dragons went down 38 points to 10 in the NRL game earlier today. And the Sharks just keep getting penalties. And now Holly Wheeler's just screaming at the referee. Just send her off. Tell her to stop her whinging, and she can have 10 minutes to think about it. Johnston put down 3rd tackle, 40 out from the Dragons line. Here come the Sharks once more. Goes to Tonagato. Tonagato gets the ball. Straight through goes Staples. Staples with the fullback to beat. In and away on Tegan Berry. Gets through the tackle of Berry, but can't get to the try line. Sinead Lendl and Maria Paseka get there to stop her. The Sharks play the ball, and it goes to Tonagato. Tonagato to Dodd. Dodd turns that one underneath. Stepping, trying to get through the tackle. Acosta, the ball's being put down by Brooke Anderson. And the Dragons will get the ball. Well, they're just holding on by the skin of their teeth. It's Keely Brown. Tell you what, 3-2-1s are going to be difficult to find. They go the blind side with Gregory. Nowhere for her to go except backwards, and the three Sharks take her to exactly where she could go. Now Sinead Lendl just sort of trots to the line. She wanted a quick tap after the penalty. Offside is the call, though, so no quick taps from a penalty, and frustration again from Lendl. She is really a Care Bear. She's strapped up everywhere, arm, head. She's held together by gaffer tape and tire wire, Sinead Lendl. She's tough as old boots, but well, I guess with the injury crisis this Dragon side has, and she feels she can't afford to take a week off. Keely Brown takes that forward as the Dragons try and force themselves into this game. They go to the middle through Mulhall. She's picked up. Tiakalanga Katoa. She's got a message from a good friend of the show saying stay away from social media as it goes out to Paseka. Paseka with a little bit of room to move. Tried to take on Davis Welsh. One-on-one, but Tonagato gets across to help her, so she just stays in the field of play. Now Toaniai. Toaniai picked up, leg lifted. Play it on tackle 5. McGregor bombs to a corner, and it's a good kick, a horrible bounce. Oh! You couldn't have bought a worse bounce for the Dragons. Maria Paseka, if she could have got to it on the full, it would have been a great try from a perfect kick. She couldn't quite reach it, but the bounce, horrible for the Dragons, knocked over the sideline by the Sharks, so we will get another set. Now Tiakalanga Katoa looks to go through Johnston and Wheeler. Quick play the ball to Ray. Now to another Ray. Ray seeing McGregor. Offload from Toaniai to Mulhall. Mulhall. She sees the line. She wants the line. She's held up in the tackle there at Byers. Holds her in the field of play. Ray goes to Hopkins. Hopkins to Berry. Nothing doing there. She wants to come back the other way. It goes to McGregor. McGregor to Basham. She sees Penatani coming. She can't get away from her, though. Just has to submit in the tackle. Cross the face of Berry to McGregor. McGregor, Lendl overruns her, and not much happening there at all for the Dragons. A horrible play. Casey Ray now to dummy half, goes to Berry. Berry double pumps and just takes the tackle. That's tackle 5. She plays it back to Casey Ray as Tiana Penatani is it that stayed down. She copped a head knock there in tackling Tegan Berry. She's got bones sticking out everywhere, Tegan Berry, so maybe she just got her head in the wrong spot. Oh, just a finger in the eye. I think a little bit of friendly fire there for Tiana Penatani. Just a finger in the eye from a teammate. Well, this is a comment I hear a lot here, Tolly, is that the Dragons don't really deserve to play finals football. If you finish inside the top 8, you deserve to play finals football. That's the system we've got. Every team that has ever finished 8 in the NRL, every single one, shithouse. Absolute mediocre, the most average of average teams. If you finish 8th, you deserve to play finals. It's a system we've got. I don't agree with it. I think we should go back to the top 5. I don't think anybody outside the top 5 actually deserves to play finals, but the Dragons do get a repeat set as we get back underway here. If we can win our next 2 games, we deserve to play finals. So I don't agree with that comment that every team that plays finals deserves to play finals. They won enough games to make it. And if the Dragons make it, they deserve it. But we've still got 2 games that we need to win, of course, to do that. There's the goal line dropout from the Sharks. The Dragons have built a little bit of pressure here. They've had a bit of a sustained period down this end of the field. They're down just 8 points to 0, even though it feels like the Sharks well on top. They could really get back into it with a try. As Casey Ray out of dummy half. Casey Ray's able to take 10, 15 metres before she gets to the defensive line. A good run from Ray. It goes to McGregor now. McGregor inside to Toaniai. Toaniai tries to barrel away over the try line. She's a metre short. Plays it back to Ray. Ray to McGregor. Goes to Basham. Basham just goes straight into Tonagato. I don't know whether that was the play at all from Charlotte Basham. She plays it back to Casey Ray. Goes to the blind side. Casey dribbles it in behind, and there'll be another repeat set here for the Dragons. The Sharks are holding on, but the Dragons, well, they're doing all the right things. They're showing patience. They're not panicking. They're getting through their sets. They're getting repeats. They're building pressure. There's a lot to like about the last couple of sets here from the Dragons. But they do need to turn it into points, because if the Sharks can hold on after this little bit of sustained pressure that the Dragons have put them under, they'll gain a lot of confidence from that. Casey Ray now again from dummy half goes to McGregor. McGregor goes out to Hopkins. Hopkins goes to Berry. Berry just tips it on to Keely Brown. Keely Brown looks to go inside her opposite number there in Biddle. Second effort there in that tackle as Berry goes to Hopkins. Hopkins goes to Mulhall for the settler. Wheeler down low makes the tackle along with Anderson. Now to Hopkins. Hopkins goes to McGregor. McGregor, short ball to Basham. Basham trying to pull through that tackle. Now out of dummy half goes Racine McGregor. She's put down. Now Casey Ray has to get into dummy half on tackle 5, and it's going to be left to Zali Hopkins on the final play. The kick hits feet. It sits up nicely for Quincy Dodd. And as I said, the Sharks will take a lot of confidence out of defending back-to-back-to-back sets right there. Well, Guy points out the Tigers won the grand final when they finished at the bottom of the 8. Well, I'm not sure. I think the Eels made a grand final from 8th, and that was when they went on their big run. I'm not sure where the Tigers finished in 2005. I think they again had a big run where they won about 1,000 games in a row at the back end of the season to make the finals. The Tigers fairly similar to the Eels in that respect, but I don't think they were 8th. I don't think they were right at the bottom of the 8. The Tigers. The kick at the end of that set there from the Sharks. Keely Brown brings it off her own try line and drops the ball. No, she's held on to it. I thought she spilt that. It's Tegan Berry. Now almost goes through. Anderson comes across, makes an important tackle. Now to Paseka. Paseka catches that one high. Not the best of passes from dummy half. Some of the service hasn't been the crispest. As it goes to Toaniai. Getting to the back end of this set. She's got an offload in her, but she's been wrapped up there by Wheeler. We'll play it back to Ray, and McGregor will kick from just inside a half. Bounces down to Staples. She'll bring that one back. Now the Sharks working out of their own end with Tiana Penatani. Plays it back to Tonagato. Nakia Davis-Welsh just coming in for a carry. Chopped down by Toaniai. Yeah, so when the Tigers won the premiership in 05, they actually finished 4th at the end of the regular season, so they weren't that far down the ladder. But it was the Eels making a grand final from 8th. I remember they played us. It was back in the old McIntyre system. What year was that? Was that 2000, 2002, somewhere around there? Have a look, see if we can find it. I'm sure somebody in the comments will know exactly what year that was that the Eels made that big run and made it all the way through to finals. There you go. Tigers came fourth in 2005, as Tolly says. Cowboys came from fifth. You don't have too many teams that come from down low on the ladder. And I don't think the Dragons are going to be one of them, unfortunately, in the NRL. We're right on the attack here is Jamale Bright. Put down on tackle 5. We're inside the 20. She's onto the field. Hopkins looks to get that one through a gap, but doesn't get enough depth on it. And Ravik's able to claim it. Dragons offside. Ella Costa penalised. A penalty goes the way of the Sharks. Well, I got this beer hoping it was going to be the Dragons that were going to inflict carnage, some red carnage on the Sharks. But, well, this is what I've got. Carnage Red IPA is my beer of the week. Could be a nice winter warmer. At the back end of winter, it's been a wet weekend. It's nice now though that the sun's out. The back end of the afternoon. Nice beer of the day for me. There's the Sharks up around the halfway line, leading 8 points to 0 on the Complete Warehouse Solutions scoreboard. 22 minutes gone. Kelly Johnston put down. About 40 metres out from the Dragons line as Wheeler. She's put down onto a back by Casey Ray. Over the top, down low was Toaniai. Sharks go across field and it's a nice little kick in behind, but Tegan Berry well positioned to take the Taylor Preston grub up. Brooke Anderson has taken control of Tegan Berry, giving her absolutely no room though. It's Keely Brown. Hit hard there by Preston, but carries her an extra few metres. They show a replay again of that tackle, and a penalty goes to the Dragons. So Brown earns a side a penalty. What's the brewery on this one? I don't even know. Freestyle Brewing. That's one of my favourites. Local in Bassendean, over here in Western Australia. I don't know whether you can get that over east, but if you get the chance, check out Freestyle Brewing. They're a fantastic little brewery. It's Toaniai after the penalty for the Dragons. She again gets the leg lifted. That's a dangerous tackle. Has been all season, and they've picked it up. So it's got to be a penalty. Another one to the Dragons. Another chance for us to go on the attack. Well, we've had enough chances to get ourselves back in this game. The Sharks got out to an early 8-0 lead just 9 minutes into it. But the Dragons have been in a pretty good position since. They're not going to kick for the sideline. I don't understand this. Racine McGregor can find the sideline from there, but she decides not to. Just taps and gets it onto Steph Hancock. We're not going to finish this set in as good a position as we otherwise could have. We're going to take a couple of tackles to get there. Racine McGregor double pumps and just runs herself before she's put down by Byers. Now they go to Hancock, who had to wait for that pass a little bit from Casey Ray. But look at the way she just carries Anderson. An extra couple of sets. Goes to Toaniai. Now out to Hopkins. Hopkins gives that, just hands that one off to Costa. And Ella Costa, she wanted a try. And she said, I'm going to score a try. And you're not bloody going to stop me. Ella Costa gets across. The Dragons score. It's 8-4, kick to come on the Complete Warehouse Solutions scoreboard. Well, this was just a little handoff from Zali Hopkins. She goes straight through Wheeler. She goes straight through Quincy Dodd. She goes straight through Cassie Staples. And then slams it down in the in-goal area. Well, she's absolutely thumped that down, celebrated with the crowd. A great try for Ella Costa. The Dragons first. And a conversion attempt that could put us back within 2 points. The Sharks, they've helped us back into this contest, but Costa is just a player that has that ability. And she scored a couple of tries in a similar fashion. She's just got this ability to do amazing things. I think she's got a big career ahead of her. She's only a young thing, as so many of the women in this Dragons team are. Racing McGregor, she gave herself a tight angle there. Obviously, wasn't confident of getting the distance. It is waved away, but we're on the board. 8 points to 4. The Sharks lead on the Complete Warehouse Solutions scoreboard. Mama Dib saying Tyler King not playing. No, she was ruled out yesterday. Apparently, she passed her HIA last week, but then suffered further concussion symptoms during the week, and the Dragons decided to rule her out. So not fit to play. So Tyler King not playing here today. Guy, what a try. It was an absolute ripper. A good one indeed. So we're on the board. You see some of the Dragons fans celebrating that try. Oh, that's the wrong scoreline. There we go. That one's better. So Sharks still leading, 8 points to 4 on the Complete Warehouse Solutions scoreboard. As Toa again gets a leg lifted, again lets the referee know about it. This time he doesn't blow the penalty. Casey Ray takes off out of dummy half. She picks up a lot of good meters. Racine McGregor gets to dummy half, goes to Toa at Bright. And Bright driven across field. Ray into dummy half, goes to Berry. Berry, can she find some room? They close down around her. As soon as she gets the ball, all of a sudden the hairs on the back of the neck stand up. Well, nobody wants to catch it. It's allowed to bounce per second with a chance to get to it. Davis Welsh gets back on it, claims the ball. She knocked it backwards. That should all be play on for the Sharks, and it is. Penatani brings it forward, runs into Ray. Hancock gets in there to help her out and get her to the ground. A good run from Penatani. Staples now. Oh! Toa goes bang. Great shot from Alexis. So that one tipped on from Preston. And the Sharks on tackle 4. They're just 30 out from their line. Now a good strong carry here from Tegan Dimmick, another former Dragon in this side. On tackle 5, they've managed to get outside the 40, and Preston takes it a long way before she puts boot to ball, drives it over the sideline on the 20 from inside the 50. Oh, I saw a 50-20 in the NRLW, unfortunately for the Sharks, fortunately for the Dragons. It is a 40-30, but not a 50-20. So 8 points to 4, the Sharks lead on the Complete Warehouse Solutions scoreboard. Shanae Lendl takes that forward into Chloe Saunders, who's out on the park now. Lendl able to keep going forward. The referee called held, so told her to go back and play it on the mark. Hancock gets that. Looked on the outside to Basham. Decides to take it herself and takes the tackle. Now McGregor. McGregor goes out the back to Hopkins. Goes out now to Keely Brown. Brown. Preston is saying, stay out on your player. Stay out on your winger. And that's good defence from the Sharks, but good work from Keely Brown. She takes all the metres on offer and stays in the field of play. McGregor dummies, goes. Looks to slide through. The tackle made by Saunders. And also Anderson. Ray goes to Hopkins. Hopkins. She changed her kick there at the last minute. Nakia Davis-Welch gets it, cops a high one from Basham, and that'll be a penalty to the Sharks. Mo Dib asking how's the crowd there. Well, I'm only watching on TV, but as I put my jacket back on. it doesn't look like many have stuck around to watch this one, if I'm honest. There's a smattering of crowd. Obviously, playing after the men's game is a little bit different. But there's certainly a few that knew that it was on and have stuck around to watch the women's game. Fighting to get up there, Penatani. Eventually, she's allowed to do so. The 30 minutes gone. Getting the back end of this half. It's going to be an important little period. It's a nice carry there from Smile. The rainbow headgear. Saunders out there. They've used pretty much all their bench so far. There's only one player that hasn't come on so far from the Sharks that, so far as I can tell, is Tegan Dimmick. A nice run there. Almost pulls through the tackle. Pushes Hopkins away. Now they go down. Well, that ball hits the deck from Preston and I think knocked on the ground by Ravix. The Dragons, well, after some questionable defence early, been pretty solid since then. It was 8-0 after just 9 minutes, and the signs were not good at all for the Dragons. So you thought that the floodgates could open. It could be an ugly scoreline. They've managed to work their way into the game, and this kick from inside the 40 from Racine McGregor on tackle 2. They seem to be awake to it. It goes straight down the middle. I don't understand that kick. If you're going to kick on tackle 2 from inside the 40, surely you're looking for a 40-30, but kicks it straight down the middle, straight down to Cassie Staples, and just hands over possession. Perhaps just not executed correctly there by Racine McGregor. Jumps back through the middle of the ruck there. Keely Brown, lucky to get away with it. Now Toaniai and Bright making that tackle. Dummy to 1. Tonegano, what a ball. Basham holds on. Well, Byers just slid straight through from a great pass from Tonegano. Quincy Dodd kicks one in behind. Berry will take it over the dead ball line. But Emma Tonegano's been the most dangerous player on the field from either team. Every time she touches it, it looks like something's going to happen around her. It's a clever little kick at the end of this from Quincy Dodd, but that little pass just popped it up. Just sort of popped it up beautifully onto the chest of Rhiannon Byers running into a hole. She's a very, very good player, Emma Tonegano. Zanessa Biddle charges that back after the goal line dropout. Well, the Dragons, they definitely do not want to concede here. So they take that one in from Smale. Smale's just a couple of metres out from the line. Plays it back to Dodd. Goes to Tonegano. Danger signs. Goes out to Staples. Goes out to Davis Welch. Lendl charging across, trying to stop her. Holding on there is Maria Paseka. She might have worn a boot herself. Basham's in there as well. Desperation defence from the Dragons. Goes now across to Dodd. Dodd turns that underneath. Dimmick tries to push away from the tackle of Ray. Dodd again going across field. Has runners. Goes. Now they've got numbers out wide. They have to score, and they do. Georgia Ravix goes across and scores untouched in that right-hand corner. Well, the Dragons were scrambling this way and that way. And in the end, there had to be room somewhere for the Sharks, and they found it. Georgia Ravix goes across for an important Sharks try, pretty much right on half-time. That will be the half-time scoreline, you would think. Gregory just raced up, but plenty of room on the outside. Might be an important try in the context of the game. 12-4 the Sharks lead on the Complete Warehouse Solutions scoreboard. If the men had won, the crowd would have possibly hung around. a few people that might not have even known the game was on would have stuck around celebrating, maybe have another beer, and then this game starts, and they figure, well, may as well stick around and watch this and have a couple more and celebrate that win, really get into it. But, certainly deflating the loss for the men's team. Defeated convincingly 38-10. The Sharks beating the Dragons in the NRL game and leading this game currently 12-4 as the halftime siren has sounded. Again, kicked out to the right, and that will be the halftime score. 12-4. Right on halftime. Justin Milton saying the crowd looks like it's dominated by Sharks. It looks like there's a few more Dragons fans right now still heading for the exits. They've seen enough. They might have wanted to stick around, but after seeing the first half, they've decided it's not worth it. So there's a few more Dragons fans, unfortunately, heading for the exits. It's been a tough day for the Dragons so far. Similar position, I think, at halftime in this NRLW game, in that we're down by 8 points. It feels like the Sharks have been the much better team, but only down by 8 points. It gives you some confidence that if we can score first, then there's a chance we can get back into it. We don't look as good as Cronulla, and I think that was the same in the NRL game as it is here in the NRLW game. They just look the better team, and at the moment, Cronulla lead 12-4. And at the break, well, looks like Cronulla are in charge. So as we did during the men's game, let's bring up the stats. Let's have a look at the stats. Might need to refresh it first because I've had this up since we started. 12-4 the score. Let's first of all go into the team stats. The Sharks, 53% of the ball possession, fairly even, but the Sharks have certainly had more of it. Similar to the NRL game, in the NRLW game, 13 from 14 completed sets from Cronulla. It's very hard to compete against a team that's completing almost perfectly. The Dragons themselves have been very good, so it's been a high-quality game of rugby league. 92% completion from the Sharks, 86% from the Dragons. That's pretty good from both teams. I don't think either coach is going to be talking about completion rates or errors or anything of that nature. But clearly the Sharks, the highest skill in this game so far. 4 line breaks to 1 is a key stat. Average set distance, I mean, that's pretty stark. They're making 49 or close to 50 metres every set. We're making 36 metres per set. So for them to be making 12, 13 metres extra per set of 6, that is considerable to say that they are just marching up the field with ease. And that's one of the key indicators that I would certainly be looking at. Not seeing too much else on the stats. 16 missed tackles to 7. The Sharks have been pretty good in that area. The Dragons are not horrible to miss 16 tackles in a half. It's not great, but it's not horrible either. Certainly seen a lot worse. Only 3 errors in the entire game. 2 from the Dragons, 1 from the Sharks. It's been pretty good ball handling out there from both sides, and 3 penalties apiece. So stats wise, I think it shows that the Sharks are just a better team. Both teams are playing reasonably well. But the Sharks have just got the more talent at the minute, and the Dragons have got a bit of work to do. Looking at the individual player stats, run meters wise, Alexis Towanio, no surprise to see her right up there. Steph Hancock, 4 runs for 55 metres. She only came on for 13 minutes. So that's pretty good going from her. Angelina Tiakalanga-Katoa also that 55-metre mark. 83 metres from Keely Brown. Another strong performance from her. Scroll across just quickly to the defensive stats. 18 tackles from Towanio and also Casey Ray. She's been very solid defensively. I think in this game, Casey Ray, she's doing a good job through the middle of the field. A few Jordan Preston, I didn't actually see her out there, but she must have got out into the middle towards the back end of that half. She's made a tackle without playing a minute, so I think the stats might just have that one wrong. I don't think Jordan Preston has made a tackle because I don't think we've seen her. I don't think she's been on the field as yet. I don't think Carla Cowan's been on the park either. So Jordan Preston been credited with a stat of a tackle probably made by Charlotte Basham or somebody else out on the field. But that's how they stack up. The Sharks, have a quick look at their stat. Again, nothing that stands out significantly run meters wise. 67 metres from Tegan Dimmick off the bench. She's definitely had an impact. I think she's done some really good things. And then their outside backs, Tiana Panatani and Anessa Bill, 88 and 80 metres respectively. Nakia Davis Welsh with 87. And go across to, I've gone too far for the defensive stats. Well, they haven't had to make a great deal of tackles by the look of that. 16 tackles from Brooke Anderson, and that doesn't surprise me because I've called her name in tackles quite often. She's made an absolute bucket load, but 16 tackles, and she hits hard too. She's a real worker, doing a good job through the middle for the Sharks. Vanessa Foliaki, the only other one in double figures in terms of tackles made for the Sharks. So they're really spreading their workload defensively and doing a pretty good job of it. All right, we'll bring this back. Number did. The men had their chance, to be fair. Well, they did. They did have their chances. They weren't good enough. They again, similar to this game, in that I just think the Sharks in the NRL game were far too good. I don't think, you can talk around that all you like, but I think the Sharks men were just far too good, and so far the Sharks women just look to be far too good. And it's the way it is. They're a good team. This is an undefeated team in the NRLW competition. It's a top 4 team in the NRLW in the NRL, and so yeah, it's a good team. They're a good club. Both their teams are very good. They smashed us in Jersey Flag as well. We beat them. They've beat a team in New South Wales Cup this week, so it hasn't all been a horror story. And I think we beat them the week before. The St George Dragons beat them in the Harvey Norman Women's Premiership. So in some grades we're beating them, but overall, I mean, you look at the 2 senior grades, they're going very well. They're a very good team. And they looked a better team here in this NRLW clash as well. The Dragons, I mean, it's a very young side, this NRLW side. I'll look through the side, and in terms of players that are 22 and under, what's that? 1, 2. Oh, Keely Brown must be close. We've got 11 players in the 17, just at a quick count. I might be wrong, a couple around that sort of 22, but 11 in the 17, 22 or under. It's a very young side. I think this is a team that if we can keep the nucleus of this side together, they're going to be a premiership contender in 2 years' time. But right now, there's going to be some inconsistency, which we could click into gear in this second half and come out and win this game easily. I think that they are capable of beating absolutely anybody on their day. But they're also capable of losing to absolutely anybody on their day. You know what I mean? So I think this is a team you need to show some patience with. The men's side, again, it's Shane Flanagan's first year. Most people had the Dragons finishing somewhere down near the bottom end of the ladder, the bottom four. So for where we are, I think, again, if you show some patience and trust in the process, we're going to build towards something. 2024 is certainly not going to be our year. We're making up the numbers. Even if we make finals, that'll be great. But I don't know whether I think we've exceeded expectations this year, whether we make finals or not. And I think that's the thing that Dragons fans need to remember, is that it's not about 2024. It's not about 2024 for the NRL side. It's not about 2024 for the NRLW side. It's about the future, and it's about looking at the players that we have a potential to build a team around. And I think there's a number of those types of players. You probably haven't seen a lot of them in the NRL, but certainly paying attention and watching the lower grades, there's some great young talent that's coming through. And Shane Flanagan, he's not going to rush them into the side. He's not going to listen to the demands of fans that they have to be in the top grade. He'll bring them in when they're ready. And when they're ready, fucking look out. Honestly, dead set, look out. We have some great talent, particularly in the forwards. I have some concerns with our outside backs. I think we need to maybe go and recruit some quality outside backs. I think we're lacking in that particular area in terms of our depth and our development and all that sort of stuff. There's some good players in there. Jesse Williams, people will tell you. David Arthur's a good player. Cyrus Stanley Williams looks like the kind of player that he could make it. He looks like a very Cyrus Stanley Trails. Sorry. He looks like the kind of player that could really make it. So, there is some decent outside backs. Lycan King Togia, who you've seen a little bit of in the top grade, is another young half that's coming through. Cade Reid is a bloke that very unlucky not to make Australian schoolboys. So there's sprinklings of talent that are coming through in the backs, but it's our forward pack that I'm really looking forward to seeing what our forwards can do over the next few years with the young players that we've got at our disposal. It's again going to be a process, but we need to be patient. We need to actually put the time into these blokes, these young forwards that are coming through, and give them a chance to show what they've got to offer, and not buy these fringe first graders that'll keep them out of the top grade. So, again, I think in the next couple of years, I think 2026 we might win. We might go close to winning the NRL and NRLW premierships. So I think in a couple of years' time, both our sides are going to be incredibly strong. But right now, I understand the hurt, I understand the pain, and it's tough to take. But we are where we are. Yeah, Mama Dib, I know Soward's a good friend of the VOD. How much longer would you give him? Again, I'd give him until 2026. I would give him until 2026. This is a young team, and if you remove Jamie Soward, a lot of these players will leave. A lot of these young players, they want to play for Sowie. They want to play for the club. They want to be Dragons. But if you take Soward away, I think it takes away a lot of what he is building towards. So I would give him a couple of years. This side was never going to be overly competitive in the NRLW this year. They're doing a good job at getting through their games, but they're getting some important minutes into some of these young players' legs. And we're back underway here, so the Dragons almost through their first set. As Racine McGregor gets to the kick at the end of it, the Dragons are going to come through. No one really competes for it, and Penatani takes that comfortably. Again, questionable as to why. Like we see with Zach Lomax, what can happen when you actually compete for a bomb. We saw last week the Dragons just didn't compete for bombs, and then when we did, we actually scored a try. That's a frustrating aspect of this NRLW side, that they get into positions where they can compete for a kick and they just decide to allow the opposition to catch it comfortably. So now the Sharks, they come up over the halfway line with Smale. Smile plays the ball and it goes back to Preston for the kick. We haven't seen the Dragons Preston as yet. Taken comfortably by Gregory. She's been quiet, Alice Gregory. Takes that bomb and brings it back towards the middle of the field. 20 out from her own line. Plays it back to Zali Hopkins. And a penalty immediately. All the Sharks offside. And Hopkins is going to kick that one into touch. Picks up an extra 10 metres. Well, there's a ball girl still on the field, but she managed to race off before she gets herself in any danger as they're tackled right on the NRL Telstra Premiership sign as Bright goes beyond the halfway line. Casey Ray to dummy half, goes to Hopkins. Hopkins going across field, goes to Steph Hancock. Hancock chopped down low by Byers. Casey Ray again out of dummy half. Tackled right on the tram lines. Goes to Hopkins. Hopkins underneath to Bright. Bright runs into Dodd. Puts it down onto her back. Now Hopkins going to bomb to the corner. Gregory tries to get up and compete for that one, but it's taken nicely by Ramix, one of the Sharks try scorers. Now Biddle brings it off the line. Runs into Hopkins. No one at dummy half, and Toanei dives on it, but she wasn't square. It'll be a penalty to the Sharks. Well, I think he's actually called a knock-on here against the Sharks, is it? Is it the Dragons challenging or the Sharks challenging? So no one at dummy half. She was square at marker, so that's not the ruling. Dummy half gets to it. And Toanei takes possession from Preston. And I think they're saying that she did knock it on. Can't say I saw the knock on. We see some of the Dragons fans sticking around, staying vocal, supporting the team. Looking for Coco in there. Where are you, Coco? You're still over there on the hill somewhere, I'm sure. It's Penatani. Looks to go between defenders. Casey Ray and Charlotte Basham make the tackle. It looks like she's out there now in jersey number 18, Jordan Preston. He's on for her debut. So she's out on the park. Can she make a difference? Make some inroads into this 8-point deficit. The Sharks leading 12 points to 4 on the Complete Warehouse Solutions scoreboard. It's knocked backwards there by the Sharks. Preston gets stacked upon by Ella Costa and Jamale Bright. The bomb goes down to Tegan Berry. Berry takes it on the full. She looks to go around, gets a pass out to Preston. Not sure exactly what position she's gone into here, Jordan Preston. Maybe onto the wing. It'll be Shanae Lendl. Lendl runs into Tonegado, stands in the tackle, can offload, trying to push 3 of Tonegado, and then plays the ball back to Ray. Now Tiakalunga Katoa back out onto the field. Plays it back to Casey Ray, who hasn't had a break yet. Goes out to Hopkins, and Hopkins just catch pass, and instead she stands there and waits to get smashed by Biddle and she is well and truly smashed by her. Driven back 20 metres. Now the kick comes from inside the 40. Well, that was not good ball playing at all from Zali Hopkins. Plenty of time left in this game. For the Sharks, with Biddle put down. Right on the halfway line, centre of the field. Casey Ray makes that tackle. Now Dodd goes across to Tonagato. Tonagato, goes straight through Basham. She's got Tegan Berry in front of her. She stands up Tegan Berry, and then Emma Tonagato. She's been brilliant throughout this game. And you see right there a bit of individual brilliance go straight through. Just some feeble Dragons defence. Puts a bit of a move on Tegan Berry and scores a great try to extend the Sharks' lead to 16 points to 4. But it has been the Emma Tonagato show. Charlotte Basham, she's had a night to forget. Maybe it's time for her to head back to New South Wales Women's Premiership. She's looked out of her depth here against a quality Sharks team. Comes up with a poor miss. Tegan Berry tried to stay with Tonagato, but just that little in and away. Too much class. Tonagato scores and extends this Sharks lead out to 16-4. There hasn't been a successful conversion attempt in this game as yet. Another chance for Taylor Preston. It might be a double blow here at Wynn. It was always going to be a tough game, although, well, they found something here. The video ref has found something to take this away from Emma Tonagato. There is a lead runner that impacts Charlotte Basham. Makes only minimal contact. But that might just be enough to prevent this try. It looks like it will be enough to prevent the try. And it will be a penalty to the Dragons. So scratch that one off. Well, wouldn't this be a massive turnaround if the Dragons can kick this one into touch and then get a try of their own? Suddenly we could be back within a couple of points. And Zach Lomax has stuck around to watch the NRLW game, sitting up in the crowd, having a chat to some of the other fans that have hung around. Shanae Lendl, she gets a penalty, allowed to take the quick tap. She runs the 10 metres before she runs into a defender. She's put down by Penatani, who reels out of that one a little bit sore. Tiakalunga Katoa, she runs into Smale. Now comes to Racine McGregor. McGregor, short ball to Mulhall, who's back out there. Casey Ray, looks like she's moved into the halves, and Zali Hopkins might have moved into dummy half. Zali Hopkins is at dummy half. She goes to Ray. Ray goes to Berry. Berry goes out to... Oh, and that one's put down by Alice Gregory. I don't know whether there was a lot of room there for Gregory. The pass a little bit behind her. Didn't look like she was ready for it in any case. I think the Sharks had that covered. Georgia Ravitz was over there. There wasn't too much doing, even if she did catch that, but spilling it, hands possession over to the Sharks. It remains 12 points to 4 on the Complete Warehouse Solutions scoreboard. I can actually put that banner back up because the score didn't change after the Tonagato try was denied to the Sharks. Now Preston bumping through the middle, bounces off one tackle. Casey Ray comes for a second effort. Now they go through the middle with Dodd. Dodd runs into Mulhall. Mulhall and Ray make the tackle on around the halfway line. Forward pass from dummy half there from Staples. That's allowed to go. Saunders still has possession on tackle 5. So Dodd now goes across to Tonagato. Tonagato floats one over the top. Davis Welch goes inside to Penatani and sliding cover defence from Sinead Lendl. That'll be a handover. Still clutching at that arm. It's heavily strapped, the elbow there of Sinead Lendl. She's clearly in some distress, some pain, but an absolute warrior for the Dragons. Just keeps powering on as Jordan Preston had a carry there. Followed up by Alice Gregory. The Dragons, they need to fire a shot pretty soon. 44 minutes gone. The Sharks lead 12 points to 4. Hopkins has gone into dummy half. Casey Ray had the ball in 2 hands, just didn't really get the lines that she wanted from Keely Brown and Alice Gregory, so she has to take the tackle. The pass goes back to Hopkins. Hopkins goes to the middle through Mulhall. Mulhall driven backwards. Hopkins now goes to Racine McGregor. He's going to bomb through the middle. Tegan Berry is chasing through, and she'll catch it on the full. She throws the pass out to Costa. Costa tries to tap it over to Keely Brown, but I think Costa knocked it on. And so does the referee. So all a little sloppy from the Dragons. Still some 25 minutes left in this contest, though. A look at the live ladder shows the Sharks 2 wins clear at the top of the table if they win this one. And then 2nd through to 7th, all on 6 competition points. Because that scenario will change a little bit if the Dragons are able to come back and win this one. The penalty to the Sharks puts them down into a good attacking position. And that's a Biddle. Really good, strong carry. Look at her. She's still going. She's got 20 metres on that run. That was just from a tap restart. Powerful run from Anessa Biddle. Now it's Anderson. Anderson's put down. Tiny Eye involved in the tackle along with Mulhall. Short pass. Wheeler breaks through the tackle of Hopkins, but the reinforcements arrive. Holly Wheeler, every time she gets tackled, she wants to fight Toaniai. They go out. That one's tapped down by the Dragons. Should be 6 again. Staples gets it out to Davis Welch. Davis Welch is tackled by Lendl. Lendl wants to drag her over the sideline, but that's a 0 tackle. They would have said no advantage if they had taken her out. Now Byers. Just a simple hit up. Preston in that tackle. Play the ball. Wheeler, just the crash play. Runs into Hopkins. Tries to force a pass out and drops the ball. Oh, the Dragons can't believe it. They've been called for a penalty. Well, surely that's one you challenge. She just dropped the ball. Fair income. Byers takes the tap as the Sharks go towards the try line. Hopkins making that tackle again. Dodd waits at dummy half. Goes to Wheeler. Wheeler short ball to Anderson. Good tackle from Casey Ray. Gets right into a back along with Ella Costa. Goes now to Preston. Preston short ball to Biddle. Biddle held up by Keely Brown. Pushes away from the tackle. Preston, short pass. They barge over the line with Foliaki. And again, the Dragons get there in numbers and hold her up. They're holding on. They're gritting their teeth. They're showing pride in the jersey, the Dragons. Keeping this Shark side at bay. They go across to the middle. Tonagato goes out wide. Trying to pull out of the tackle there, Staples, but nowhere for her to go. Shanae Lendl makes the tackle. Dodd looks to roll one in behind. I don't think that's played out. That was played out that time the second time. Then knocked on. First one, Dragons. Racine McGregor's arguing with the referee, but he's not listening. Little nothing kick from Quincy Dodd. Knocked backwards by the Dragons and knocked on by Berry, picked up by Tonagato, and then knocked on by the Sharks. Is the ruling. Racine McGregor saying it was picked up cleanly by Berry and stripped. It's been 4 consecutive sets for the Sharks. Here comes set number 5. Penatani breaks through another tackle, gets through Preston's tackle and scores. She might have been injured in scoring her second try, Tiana Penatani. She scored the first. And now she goes across. Well, the Dragons, they had to break eventually. Again, Tonagato, same little skip that draws in Shanae Lendl, puts all sorts of pressure on the outside defenders. Lendl just has to stay out and trust that the inside defender can make that tackle. And I think that time, Basham had that covered. Lendl didn't need to jam in and should have stayed on her own opponent. I think this one has been confirmed. Taylor Preston hasn't kicked one yet, and that's not about to change. We've had 5 tries in this game. Haven't yet had a conversion from either side. So the Sharks leading 16 points to 4 on the Complete Warehouse Solutions scoreboard. Theoretically, that keeps the Dragons in the game. It's only a 12-point margin, 2 converted tries. We will be back in it. But where those 2 converted tries come from is anybody's guess. It's hard to see that happening. The Sharks certainly the superior team through the opening 50 minutes of this game. 20 minutes to go. The Dragons need to find a couple of converted tries to level this one up. Vanessa Biddle, well, one of the more impressive players for the Sharks. She's been absolutely outstanding. I think that might be Menolita Takapatolo with her first carry. She's big. She's big. She has plenty of her. Takapatolo. Now it comes out with Tonagato and another show go straight through Basham once more. This time draws and passes the fullback and sets up Rhiannon Byers. Well, Emma Tonagato has been the difference between these two teams. You take Emma Tonagato out of this Sharks team and I think this game's just about level. She has been absolutely outstanding. Once again, she gets the ball in hand. She's had a hand in every single try, steps inside Charlotte Basham, goes straight through Tegan Berry. Not much she could do. An easy draw and pass. And a try to Rhiannon Byers. 2 tries in quick succession, and this game's over. Well, the Dragons now playing for a bit of pride. Well and truly beaten here by the Cronulla Sharks. This could end up being a bigger margin than the NRL game. Starting to fall off tackles. Conversion attempt is successful. The first successful conversion we've seen so far today, 22 points to 4. He's the score right now. And, well, I guess we come back to that question that Mohammed Dib asked before. How much longer would you give Jamie Soward? And score lines like this are certainly not going to help his cause. I know he's starting to feel the pressure. He knows that he needs to start getting some results. But the side that he's been able to assemble, it's a very young side. And I personally, I'm happy to be patient with it. But I know there'll be a lot of Dragons fans that'll look at this scoreline and they won't be happy to be patient with Soward. They'll be looking for somebody to blame. And Jamie Soward will certainly be a guy that's right in the firing line. 22 points to 4 on the Complete Warehouse Solutions scoreboard. Dragons need to find something in these next few weeks to perhaps keep Jamie Soward in a job. They go back in behind the ruck with Chloe Saunders. She's put down Tawani and Tiakalanga Katoa. Now it's with Wheeler right on the ad line. Runs into Carla Cowan, who's out onto the field for her first minutes of 2024. Holly Wheeler, customary, has a bit of a whinge every time she gets tackled. And what the hell is wrong with her? Every single time she gets tackled, she has a whinge. Like, what for? Just get up and play the ball. Stop carrying on. Kick goes down to Jordan Preston. She had no idea where that was, Jordan Preston. Goes over the dead ball line. Lucky bounce for the debutant. And we get the 7 tackle set. Free walk back to the 20. That's Alice Gregory tapping and going. Runs into heavy contact from Anderson. Now Lendl. She steps past Wheeler and runs into Anderson. Anderson doesn't let too many get away from her. And Lendl's not going to be the exception to the rule. Casey Ray's dropped back into dummy half as Basham runs that one into Tonagato. She'll play it back to Carla Cowan. Cowan, short ball to Tiakalanga Katoa, who was really on the burst. She runs into Caitlin Johnston, though, and gets stopped in her tracks. McGregor dummies and goes. She dummied to Steph Hancock and takes the tackle on 4. Cowan goes to Ray. Ray, short ball, and Biddle whacks Keely Brown. Brown tries to ride through the contact. She'll still get up and play the ball quickly. It goes to Casey Ray on last. She tries to thread the needle, Ray. She'll hope that one is called as played at. It is called at played at. Another set of 6 coming for the Dragons. It goes to Hancock. Hancock stands in the tackle, thinks about popping it out the back. She lands on the neck there of Emma Tonagato. She stays on the ground. Carla Cowan underneath for Tiakalanga Katoa. Great shot there from Saunders. Cowan waits at dummy half. Short pass to Toaniai, and Toaniai drops it straight into the lap of the Sharks. And Rhiannon Byers gets the ball, and now a penalty to the Sharks to help them out of their own end. That tackle from Chloe Saunders with Angelina Tiakalanga Katoa was pretty impressive. And the Sharks, well, they're undefeated in this competition for a reason. We've got an up-close look at the reason why here today. They've been very good as there's a bit of pushing and shoving. Ella Costa. Anderson comes in to scrap as well. Ella Costa wasn't real happy about getting the little hand up in the face there from Vanessa Biddle. She gives her one on the ground as well. They play with a fire in the belly, this Sharks team. There wasn't too much in that, really. And the referee is Well, it's probably good refereeing, honestly. Just play the ball, get on with the game. Nothing in it. Tempers flared momentarily. No need to blow a penalty. The pass goes over the top, floated out to Davis Welsh. Davis Welsh looks to take on Sinead Lendl. Lendl comes from behind and makes the tackle. On tackle 5, it comes to Tonegado. Back to Preston. Kicking that across field and taken on the full by Gregory. So about 13 minutes left. Ray gives a pass to Brown. Now Berry. Can she create something for the Dragons fans, the few that have stuck around to cheer for? She earns a side a penalty. It's not exactly the cheer that we're looking for. Well, some defensive stats that are coming up on the screen. 6 line breaks to 1 to the Sharks. They've only missed 9 tackles in the entire game. The Dragons just have not been able to break through. Their defence has just been rock solid. There's no way through this Sharks line. Casey Ray turns it underneath to Tiakalunga Katoa. She breaks through a tackle. Holly Wheeler missing a tackle. Now they get out of dummy half through Cowan to Ray. Ray out to Steph Hancock. Hancock not running in a hole. She was running at players. She wanted the contact. She got it. The Sharks happy to oblige. Byers makes the tackle. McGregor going across field, hits the straight runner in Sinead Lendl. Lendl's picked up and put down on 4, and again, slow to her feet. McGregor goes to Hancock. Hancock again pretends like she's going to pass like she ever has in her career. And now Carla Cowan goes to McGregor. McGregor pass out the back. It hits Sinead Lendl. Lendl flicks it out the back to Tegan Berry. Berry puts the ball on the boot, and Staples is well positioned. Comes away with the ball. And the Sharks, they are just too good, too classy defensively. Mohammed Dib says it's been a disappointing day. Yep. Yes, it has. We're into the final 10 minutes of this game. The Sharks leading 22 points to 4 on the Complete Warehouse Solution scoreboard. Guy says fire up. Ugh. Fire is burning low, Guy. There's not too much that the Dragons are doing. It's Emma Tonegado. I'm sick of saying that name. She bursts through once again, gets it to Quincy Dodd. She links. She's chopped down by Ella Costa, who's chased her down. The pass now goes across to Preston. Preston goes out wider. Show, go. Anderson steps through 1, steps through 2. Knocked down an offside position there is Casey Ray. It should be a penalty for the Sharks, and it is. The disappointment continues. Preston's going to take the tap. Takapatolo takes it forward for the first carry of this set. Dodd goes out to Biddle. Biddle just catch pass. That was too easy. Georgia Ravick scores in the corner. How do you fire up? How do you fire up, Guy? When that's what we're putting on. When that's what we're turning on. That was horrible defense. Stay on your winger. You're the winger. See the player that's closer to the sideline. Stay on that player. It doesn't. You don't need 2 of you to try and tackle Anessa Biddle. I don't know why on earth did Alice Gregory come in on Biddle there. Keely Brown had her covered. You stay on your winger, and your winger doesn't score. Oh, just horrible basic defense. That is way too easy. It was 2-on-2. 2-on-2 on that side of the field. The Sharks just threw it to the center. The center just catches and passes to the winger, and the winger goes over untouched. Unfreaking believable. Unbelievable. Frustrating and poor. I think the one position where I think the Dragons are incredibly weak is on the wings. Our wingers all season have all been very poor. We've had a few injuries. That's a good kick from the sideline. Taylor Preston hasn't had the best day with the boot, but she knocks that one over. 28 points to 4 on the Complete Warehouse Solution scoreboard. That's a good suggestion, Guy. Go the Biff. Well, you watched a game earlier today, and there was a bit of Biff involved. The Titans game. Who did they play? Shaylee Bent, I think, ended up in the sin bin in that one. There was definitely a bit of Biff in that one. That'd get anyone fired up. So let's hope the ladies turn it on, turn something on, do something. I don't know what happened there. That's gone over the dead ball line. It's been tapped forward by Tonagato in the in-goal area, and it'll be goal line dropout now for the Sharks. Yep, that's the scoreline. Put that up. Didn't enjoy that. 28 points to 4. The Sharks lead. Woo! 7.5 to go. Madison Mulhall brings it back into Brooke Anderson. He makes the tackle along with Wheeler. Cowan goes to McGregor. McGregor underneath to Bright. Bright's put down onto her back by Johnston and Wheeler. Cowan again at dummy half. Turns out underneath to Hancock. Steph Hancock stands in the tackle. Again, no chance of a busted tackle. Cowan to McGregor. McGregor. Dummies goes. Everybody just stayed with Tegan Berry. That was who they were trying to get the ball to. But they had her covered. Now Berry. Chopped down. Guess who? Anderson has just taken control of Tegan Berry this entire game. Racine McGregor rolls one in behind. Jamale Bright's chasing through, and Preston will dive back into the field of play because Bright was the only player that chased that kick. Again, the 1%ers, absolutely horrendous. Biddle runs over the top of Casey Ray. Casey Ray's left clutching at her sternum. She's in some pain. The pass goes. That's knocked on by Ravix. She's got some tingling going up the arms there, I think, Casey Ray. We've got a player down with some cramp. That might be Keely Brown. Is it on the ground? She gets a bit of pickle juice. Get that into you. Only a few more minutes to get through. Tries to jam that in nice and quick, but that cramp, it's causing some pain. Ref's not stopping the game for cramp, though. Casey Ray will feed the scrum. 6 minutes left. Tegan Berry sweeping around. Can't get around into a position, and Racine McGregor just gets flattened again. Well, the organisation and the shape in attack hasn't been all that flash. But they've run out of ideas against this very organised Sharks defensive line. Goes to Ray. Goes to Berry. Berry just tries to fire a pass across to Gregory. It's gone forward off the hands of Keely Brown. Been that sort of day. Oh, I'm coming back to this comment from Guy. They're going to go the Biff. I can only see that Biff coming against each other. They've got to be frustrated with some of their teammates' performances. It hasn't been good, and they look frustrated with each other as much as they are with the Sharks, as Tiana Penatani almost goes through that hole. She'll play it back to Dodd. Dodd gets it to Johnston. Johnston, he rolls over the top of Carla Cowan, just stomps her into the ground. She left footprints on her face. There's Quincy Dodd now, takes a run from dummy half. She's put down by Basham. She stayed on the ground, clutching at the nose, looking for a bit of claret, but I don't know whether there is any. They show a replay of Johnston just going over the top of Carla Cowan. Now Wheeler plays the ball. Preston underneath the Biddle. Biddle looking to leave some footmarks of her own. Runs into Costa. Now Dodd. Dodd goes out to Tonagato. Dummies, goes, bounces out of the tackle. Johnston juggles it once, twice, then gets the pass back to Anderson. Anderson puts boot to ball. That's going to be allowed to bounce. Nobody wants to claim it. Eventually, Gregory gets it, but no Dragons. Every Dragons player looked at that and said, oh, I hope one of the Sharks catches it. Because none of them wanted anything to do with that high ball. None of them. Tegan Berry just looked at it. Jordan Preston. It's not going to be a debut she's going to want to remember. She hasn't been overly awful, but just the scoreline, 28 points to 4. Not what you'd hope for on your debut. Was Bright. Takes the hit up. Put down by Wheeler. Now it goes to Berry. Berry's going to put a little kick into space, hoping for a bounce. It bounces over Berry's head and knocked on, I think, by Wheeler. Tegan Berry just saw a little bit of space. Wheeler's claiming she didn't knock it on. They're going to use the captain's challenge. They don't get any reward for keeping it, I suppose. She uses the ground to maintain possession. That'll be called a knock-on. It's up off the ground. She doesn't have complete control, and she uses the ground to maintain possession. So it is ruled as a knock-on. The Dragons will get the ball. A chance. Well, let's put some fun into this, eh? Let's have a bit of fun. Last try wins. Last try wins. Schoolyard rules. 2.5 minutes to go. Let's score the last try of the game. Head into the sheds. The kick on first tackle. Penatani's Staples tracking it back. Tegan Berry chased. Can't get to it. Well, I take it back. It's impossible to put excitement into this game because this team is terrible. The Sharks now into the final 2 minutes of the game. Biddle, what a beast. What a beast Anessa Biddle is. Another tremendous run from her. She's got to be up around that 200-metre mark by the end of this game. Not sure exactly what the stats look like. On tackle 5, Holly Wheeler trying to milk another penalty. Bomb down to Jordan Preston. She takes it comfortably and brings that back into contact. Now Lendl. Shanae Lendl, she's powered through another game. She's battered, bruised, and broken. She's clutching at her back now. Like, this is just another thing that's wrong with her. As Gregory plays it back to Cowan. Now Bright. Looks to bump away from Wheeler. Plays it again back to Cowan. Goes to Hancock. Hancock goes to Berry. Oh, Berry comes a very high shot. There was a swinging arm there from Quincy Dodd. Well, I can't believe that she'll stay on the field here. I know she was... well, on the replay, it probably looks worse than it was. It looked worse at full speed than what it looked on that replay. Berry was certainly falling. She got a high penalty sufficient. Maybe overreaction on my behalf. Put my hand up there. All right, let's get on with it. Goes to Casey Ray. Ray goes out to McGregor. McGregor to Berry. Berry, great pass. Preston for the corner, sliding cover defence. She's gone into touch, and it's Emma Tonagato with the cover tackle to take her into touch. Jordan Preston had opened up a great pass from Berry. She had a little bit of room. She needed to be flash lightning, though, to get across and score. She just, I think a long studs might have just hit the line. Emma Tonagato, well, I don't know whether the Dally M's is the same for the women as it is for the men, but it's clear 6 points for Emma Tonagato for the Sharks this week, if you keep them score. And that is the full-time siren, the Sharks are victorious in this one, 28 points to 4. Thoroughly convincing and a thoroughly disappointing day for Dragons fans. Down 38-10 in the NRL, 28-4 in the NRLW. I came for the girls, stayed for the commentary. Thanks, Guy. Well, it's one of the harder ones to get through, I must be honest. It would have been nice to have Jesse for some help, but he's there at the game, as are most of the Mad Dragons vodcast panel, which means there is no there's no vodcast today for the Mad Dragons. So we don't have the numbers. So we're going to call it a night. They're going to commiserate on their own, and we're going to give tonight a miss. We'll be back on Tuesday from 8:30 p.m. For a preview show, a very important preview show against the Parramatta Eels. So thanks very much for joining us for the call. Hopefully you join us for both calls, but well, both of them pretty disappointing. The Dragons 28-4 losers in NRLW and 38-10 in the NRL. Rough day. Thanks for joining us. See you next week.